Kinda Knight here, and welcome back for the next update and progress video for the fortified city of Dukesbrough here on the channel. I did manage to get quite a bit done for today's episode, so I hope you guys are excited and ready to begin because again, this will be a big one. So, to bring everyone up to speed, back in the last episode, we completed and toured the Silver Spoon Tavern and Inn here, and also we got a chance to go over some of the build's history and lore. And also in that video, off camera though, I added in these three homes here, our residential buildings, just to try and fill in some of these areas and to make the area just look a little bit more filled and completed. And since then, I've done a little bit more work off camera, whereas I added in this building here, which is an extension of the gatehouse, and it kind of serves as a secondary housing for the city guard. And I know I'm doing a lot of off-camera work, but trust me, we will be having plenty of progress done on video in time-lapse form, so don't you worry. So moving on down the road here, right across from where our stables are located, I went ahead and added in a few more residential buildings here. Not gonna lie, it is still mostly incomplete. There are still some tweaks and refinements as well as staging that still needs to be made. And one of the big ones being the road here and trying to get it to feel really old and worn to the dirt and very traveled on feel. And you know, I'm really liking it. I think it's coming out really good. But again, refinements will be made. But now that I think I got you guys all caught up to speed, let's get started and jump into today's build. So for today's episode, we will be building up this area here, which will serve as one of the city's bustling market squares or areas that would be frequently visited by the peoples of Dukesbrough. The goal for today's episode, I would say, is to really bring that atmosphere factor and really make this place look and feel as unique as possible. I really want this to feel immersive, and so the finer and major details will be added in off camera. So we will just be focusing on the time lapse of the general layout of the build as well as a little bit of lore. So as always, after the time lapse build and lore, we will join back up for the first person view and tour. So I hope you guys are comfortable, sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. The Dukesborough's Market Square, also and more widely known as the Westbrough Stalls, is one of the city's most bustling and patroned places within the city to purchase goods. Originally established around the first phase of the building work of the fortified city, but at the time it wasn't much more than just a few stalls. But over the course of a decade, near the completion of the fortified city walls, Dukesbrough would see a boon in its population. Due to the very promising protection and security the newly erected fortified walls would provide its inhabitants, and also the prospects of becoming a free person. Peasants and serfs would flock to the city in droves. The lord of the castle would also provide additional incentives for any skilled craftsman who would find the offer to be a great opportunity to come and permanently settle within the city walls and apply their trade as a master of their craft without any guild fees and a grace period where they would be free of taxation for the first year of residency. With the massive growth in population, businesses, and trades, the Westbrough market stalls naturally and quickly became the bustling city square that many would prefer to frequent for their day-to-day needs, with goods like meat, grain, vegetables, spices, and fish to pottery and ceramics, as well as businesses and trades such as a blacksmith, a barbershop, and a tailor, to name a few, that would set up shop, with most of the goods and services being provided at a discount. The west side of Dukesbrough, or Westbrough, would eventually have the largest growing lower, middle, and upper middle class economies within the district, and due to all the goods and services that were readily available, the citizens would see a slight increase in their quality of living. Each year, to celebrate the ending of the harvest season, a fair would be held throughout the city within the market squares for the entirety of the final week of the harvest season's calendar, where many people from all over Colossia readily would flock to the city during this time and gather in large crowds to buy and sell their own goods and produce, as well as enjoy the delicious foods and partake in the fair's games and festivities, where crowds can find themselves entertained by street performers such as magicians, jugglers, and dancers performing animals, as well as stage performers, wandering minstrels, and puppet shows. And now, so I'll cut it at that. I really hope you guys enjoyed that reading on the lore. And now I'll allow the rest of this time lapse to finish out, and afterwards we'll join back together for the tour. Alright guys, and we're back, and as you can see, this area has been completely transformed. I really tried to do my best to add in as much details to help create that atmosphere, and I think it's looking great. I think I didn't do too bad of a job. But first, real quick, we're gonna go ahead and do a quick little fly around. I want to give you guys the whole picture so you can see how everything's starting to come together. And now, as you can see down that road there, we have the main entrance into the city. And so the easiest way to the market square would be to just take the road straight ahead and turn down into this area here. And now, let's go ahead and land on the ground and check this place out. Again, I really tried to add in just the right amount of details and things to look at, but we're not going to spend too much time on it. We're going to go ahead and start by checking out the stalls here and stuff like that. First off, we come to the first stall here, where the vendor has some of his supplies and other miscellaneous items set out. And at the stand here, we have a few kinds of fresh fish on display and can be purchased. Probably the fishmonger's catch of the day. Then moving on, we come to the butcher stand. And now, generally speaking, most of the goods you would find throughout the market square here are bargain goods, and that goes for the butcher's meats here as well. They would be generally the lesser desired cuts of meat, and likely not the freshest, but still, even so, they would still be a steal for the price. And now on to the next stand, where we have a produce stand here, where you can again buy maybe not the best quality of fruits and veggies, but definitely still good for eating and cooking with a discounted rate. And over here we have our bread stand, where you can buy not only bread but also some cheese. And now the bread here would come from the baker's bakery that would have failed to have sold within the first day that it was baked while it was at its freshest, and so it would be brought here to be sold at the market at a discounted rate as day-old to even week-old bread. And so, continuing to move on, we have another produce stand here with some veggies being sold, as you can see. And then here is what I like to consider as the herbalist stand, where you can buy certain ingredients for remedies and other medicinal purposes, things that help with pain and stomach aches, plants that can heal cuts and bruises, and also things that are said to help with male performance in the bedroom. And with that, moving on to another fishmonger stand, where you can buy some more fish, some more catch of the day perhaps. And over here in this area, we just have some more crates and barrels filled with miscellaneous items that the merchants here have stored. And you know, it kind of just adds to the atmosphere that I'm creating also. And we also have another little veggie stand in that area. So yeah, just really trying to make this place really feel immersive and have that atmosphere. And over here, we just have the entrance to someone's home, where as you can see, they have this nice little sitting setup back here where they can just kind of chill and just kind of watch the day, the dealings of the day go by. And again, they got it like that. You know, they're not wealthy, but quite a few of the people of Westbrough are of the upper middle class. And here we have kind of a secondhand wine shop where you wouldn't be buying your vintage wines or anything of quality from them, but it'll get the job done. But moving on. And now here, right here in the center of the market square, stands one of the city's mega torches, or kind of a beacon. And this here would provide a bit of light along the streets at night, as well as serve as an anchor, as you guys can probably tell, for festival decorations and flags and banners. And one thing that I probably don't have to mention is that the plaza here isn't 100% complete. So I am still just trying to iron out some of the kinks, and overall just trying to get it to look the way I see it in my head. But you know, so far I'm very happy with the results. And so now that we got a closer look at some of the things on the outside, I have prepared an interior tour for you guys as well. And it will be of this building here that's owned by the blacksmith. And so here, before we enter into the workshop, just some background lore on the blacksmith. The blacksmith here of the Westbrough Market District is a skilled craftsman and can handle and fill most of any commissioned orders, such as swords and pieces of armor. But contrary to that, that is not how he makes his living. Rather, his income comes from crafting things like horseshoes or nails and tools for other craftsmen, as well as chains. So pretty much any metalworking that you would need, this would be the blacksmith that you would come to. And so as we tour, you guys will see that he does make a nice income. And so heading over here, we come to this workstation, this kind of workbench right here, where our blacksmith can maybe hammer out some dents in some armor and make just quick repairs to some armor that he may have been commissioned to fix. And here we have this area where he could rest and maybe quench his thirst, because working at that hot forge, I'm pretty sure he would get pretty thirsty most of the time. And over here, he has a nice big cart of charcoal, where that would be very important to his trade, so he can keep that forge nice and hot, so he can smelt those ores. So now, stepping in to the workshop finally, as we look around, if we make our way over here, we see we have this nice big forge right here, where our blacksmith works. And then on the table here, we have a couple of iron ingots waiting to be smelted and turned into maybe some steel. We have a bellows right there, and then we have our anvil there. And over here, he has a basin to quench that hot iron and steel in. And then up here, we just have some shelving, and as you can see, we have some miscellaneous items up there with it. Very rustic. I feel like I got the medieval blacksmith vibes down pretty well in here. But moving on, we have some more shelving here, where we got some more miscellaneous items. We have, as you guys can see, another desk with some ingots on there. We have some wood logs over there in the corner, of course used for our forge. And over here, he keeps his grindstone, very important in maintaining his tools and keeping them sharp. But also when he is occasionally commissioned to forge a weapon, he would use that to sharpen it and, you know, get it all nice and shiny. And over here, we just have some more charcoal. So that's pretty much the workshop. So now we're going to go ahead and check out the shop, or the store portion of the build, where the blacksmith would sell his goods, generally speaking, and where his patrons can pick up their commissioned item. So stepping inside, once again, we come to the store portion of the build. And as you see, we have this table in the middle of the room, where we have swords and other things, and you can see we have some swords and some weapons in the background, as well as some chains up there. Now again, our blacksmith does not make too many swords and weapons or anything like that, but there are occasions where, you know, he would buy maybe an old used rusty weapon, and then he would take it back to his own store, or his his workshop, and he would restore it and polish it back up and then resell it for a profit. And so that's what you see. And again, for the most part, he would be making things like tools and, you know, little metalworks and maybe metal hinges for crossbows and stuff like that. And then back here, we just have another storage room where he would store some of his goods that he's created. We have some iron ore there, as well as some more chains. Very important because, again, when it comes to the portcullis, when his chains need to be fixed, they will come to him to craft those chains. So again, he makes a pretty good living. And now moving on, we've seen the workshop. We had a quick look at the shop area, and now it's time to check out where he actually lives. So we're gonna go up these stairs here, and we're gonna go ahead and open the door and step inside his home. So after immediately stepping inside, we come into the dining portion of his home, where he has this stove here where his wife would prepare their meals right here at this stove. She has some ingredients kept to the side there, where she has some veggies and some vegetables. And then over here we have a little table where we have some bread and some cheese and a keg of ale, as well as some kitchen utensils. And up at the top we just have some more kitchen and miscellaneous items used for preparing their meals. And then over in the corner here, we have this table where the blacksmith and his family would sit, as well as some storage up at top. And they also keep some storage under the stairs there. Overall, very spacious and not too overpacked with clutter and junk. But we're going to go ahead and move on and go up the stairs. And now we come to the blacksmith's family's living room or gathering room, where, as you can see, it's very cozy and very welcoming. We have a nice fireplace, keeping this room all warm and cozy. We have some nice seating, as well as this table right here in the middle, so they can sit down and maybe play a game of cards. And then over at this table right here, we have some food or some snacks set out for the family to eat and enjoy while they're up here. And then we have this little floral decoration right here on this table. And then again, we have a deer head as decoration on the wall there, as well as a nice chandeliering. And then this has some nice beam work, some little details that I added to add a little nice touch, as well as you might spot the cobwebs just to add a little bit more details to the build. And we have a chest here, as well as some cabinetry here to store some of their things and stuff like that. But coming out this door, we step out onto the balcony. I haven't got around to staging this. Eventually I'll get around to it once I really figure out what I want to do with it. But it does have, or they do have, a nice view of the market square here, and I think it just looks really nice. So let's go ahead and head back on inside. So now moving on to explore the next portion of the house. Behind these curtains here, through this walkway, we enter into the blacksmith's bedroom, where he and his wife would sleep. And as you see, they have a nice sized bed, very decent accommodations in this room. As you can see, there's some nice rugs on the floor. They have a chest right here to store some of their more personal belongings. And over here in the corner, he has a little desk, a little writing area where he can make use and keep track of his ledgers. And up at the top, we have some more shelving space with some scrolls, as well as we have this wardrobe right here where they can store their clothes. And then in this corner right here, or this area, we have a little table where they can keep some more food or drink. In this scenario, some more drink on. But going down the stairs here, we come to what may be his children's bedroom, or perhaps his apprentice's room, and or perhaps both. Again, we have some decent beds down here. We have a chest on one bed to keep some belongings. We have a nice big wardrobe down here, as well as another table for, again, where they can make use and do some reading and writing. because these blacksmiths, they would generally know how to read for the most part. At least in my lore, they would know how to read. So that's pretty much it, you guys. I have nothing else to show you guys in this episode, but I hope you guys enjoyed this tour and got something out of it. Alright guys, so that was today's episode, and as I mentioned, this market square is not fully completed yet, and so I think in the next episode we will go ahead and finish it up here and add in the rest of these buildings here and really just get this place looking right. I'm really excited to see how it all further turns out, and I hope you guys are too. So if you guys would like to stay updated on the progress here in Dukesbrough, then please consider subscribing and turn on that red notification bell, as well as leave a like on the video. By doing so, you are assured to not miss any of these update videos when I publish them. Thanks again for watching and joining me for today. And until next time, this has been the Kinder Knight, and I bid you a farewell.